Today I'm at Quarry Bank Mill. It's a massive old cotton mill turned National Trust site, and it's only a stone's throw away from Manchester Airport. I'm going to have a wander around, learn a bit of history, maybe grab a coffee, you know the drill. So many car parking choices to choose from. Brilliant. Right, okay, today I'm at Quarry Bank Mill. I've literally just pulled up. Also, a warm welcome to my new subscribers. I know there's a few of you, so a welcome to the channel. I'm going to take a bit of a gamble today. I do have my coat, but I'm going to leave it in the car just because I don't think it's going to rain from what the forecast has said. The sky doesn't look promising, however, I'm going to put my faith in Apple weather. Well, I am hoping that the cloudy sky has put people off, because last time I did one of these, it was the hottest day ever and there was thousands of people there. And you know, I'm all for people having a good day out, but not whilst I'm trying to film a bloody YouTube video. Okay, so I'm now officially in. I just went through the visitor centre and they're very nice in there. A very informative old man telling me, you know, what's on, where to go. I showed him my card and I got this in return. Yeah, I got given this green thing. Now, I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do with this, as it doesn't look like a ticket. However, I'm sure it probably is, so that's what we've got that for. Oh, no. Oh. It's a bloody school trip. Hang on, I'll have to put the camera away. Oh, yeah, what I was saying as well, he gave me a map, but who gives a about the map? Do you know what I mean? Like, I just want to have a wander around. I'm sure we'll stumble across something soon enough. Right, so as you can see, I found the mill. I was trying to get a really good shot of it from round the other side. However, I was just walking down there and they said that the meadow is closed, so I can't actually get round it from that way. They also told me when I walked in that the restaurant is closed, which I'm not particularly fussed about because I wasn't planning on getting a meal. But then also I've just seen this. There's some more closed off area there. I'm beginning to think that they may not be able to handle it, though I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now. Can you see that? That reflection there? That is so bright, that is like the pure sun. What a day to not bring sunglasses. What? God, even more not allowed. Wobbly bench. Big leaf. Loads of them. It's another big leaf. God, what an awful time for me to come here. This big glass structure is well and truly the best thing I've seen here yet. That's just insane. Okay, and this is the greatest mystery I've found so far. I don't know what it is. It looks like a crater. It could be a swimming pool. It could be for storing water. Right now, they're storing some apples, some unripe apples, and a bit of minging water. I'm sure it'd also work as some sort of skate park. Right, I do feel somewhat as though I've cheated the system here. I should have really looked round the mill and then gone for a coffee at the end. However, I walked past the cafe and then I couldn't resist. So I've gone with a cappuccino. They were right on the brink of not being able to handle it because they were taking a while and getting a few things wrong for other people. But they got mine right, so I'll give them a 6 out of 10. Though I feel like if it was other conditions and maybe it was a little bit busier, they wouldn't be able to handle it. Though they did somewhat redeem themselves when they made someone a takeaway tea, and you know, they say it out a few times to try and get the person's attention, but it didn't work. So then they brought out this guy from the back who had a really sort of loud, strong voice, and you know, he said it with all his might. He just went, "Takeaway tea," you know, dead loudly. I'm not gonna do it here because people will look round, but it got everyone's attention. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. You need someone like that to announce orders and stuff, you know, anything like that. If it's McDonald's when they're announcing orders, you need someone with that sort of loud presence. And I tell you what, if I was making a play and I wanted someone to reach the gods, you know, right at the back of the room, this would be the first place I'd come. If I was doing a play, that is. I'm not doing a play. Right, I'm going to enjoy this now. Okay, I'm well and truly zinged up on caffeine now, so we can go and check out the mill, if I can remember how to get back to there. Okay, I'm in here now. I've just checked out the main guy's office. And now we're going to have a look at some machines, I think. Alright, okay, so I just spent maybe about 20 minutes in that first room alone, just reading the things. It was well interesting. I've now walked into a much noisier room. It's also got a very weird smell, like just a very musty, historical smell. But it's very interesting. Look at this. This bit's a bit like a horror film, to be honest. Ooh. Just spent a bit of time in this room. Been finding out about what sort of people worked here. There was a lot of kids that worked here. There was more kids than men and women combined. The people that were actually doing the majority of the weaving, you know, the weaving of the cotton, were women. There wasn't a lot of males who worked here, but if they did work here, they were doing repair jobs, and they were like mechanics and carpenters and stuff like that. Anyway, I've just been listening to some stories about some kids that used to work here, one of which had his head crushed between some machinery. Sounds bloody awful. Some kid ended up with a mechanical arm, probably looked a little bit like C-3PO. And there was one man that died instantly when a stone fell on his head. Unlucky chap. Alright, I'm slightly having to deviate here. I'm just learning about this big wheel at the minute. But I'm just going to have to quickly go around that because they're doing the school trip, aren't they? Typical. I can tell you probably wouldn't want your hand trapped between them. Jesus. Right, so I'm stood where the big wheel used to be. So the water would come in here, right? It'd come down there, and the big wheel be here. It'd be the big wheels keep on turning, and then it would go back out down there. Right, we're now in the engine room. Oh wow, hang on, I'm just reading this thing. Jesus, there's a headline here that says 3 men escaped death in boiler explosion. It's fantastic. It's not good for them, but it's interesting. You know, this could have been me back in the day, shoveling coal into this big furnace. Be like that. There's the barometer. That's the second best barometer I've ever seen. Okay, I've now officially got lost. I tried getting out, and then couldn't get out. I'm now doing loops of the mill by accident. Doesn't help because there's 2 staircases that look the exact same. Right, no, I think I'm getting there now. I think I can smell the way out. Phew. I just finished the walking round the mill. Just sat down. I've had to go though because some woman sat next to me, started talking to herself, and then pulled out a BlackBerry phone. You know, I can excuse the talking to yourself. I mean, that's what I'm doing now, but a BlackBerry phone? Jesus. Right, I'm just now walking around the rest of the grounds. I'm in this wooded area. Probably going to call it a day soon, to be honest. I've seen the main thing, which is the mill and the garden. I had my coffee. There is an apprentice house, and also like the house that the main boss used to live in, but you have to like book on to see them to do a guided tour, and I can't be arsed, to be quite frank. Though I'm sure they're probably interesting. Don't do it. Oh no. You saying hello? Hello. You're right, mate. Drop be on the vlog? You gonna go on the vlog? Oh. This is where the workers used to live. You know, the ones that worked in the mill, but I actually think people live here as well. Like, still to this day. Which makes sense, you know, because it's a nice looking place. Right, I'm going to call it a day, ladies and gentlemen. It was very interesting walking around the mill. I'd actually say that was probably my favourite bit. I know last time I did one of these videos I preferred the gardens over the house, but this time the mill was more interested in the gardens. Though the gardens were good. And we finally made it back to the car. I'll give my debrief now. See, there was bits that I really enjoyed. Like, I did enjoy going around the mill and reading the history and stuff. I didn't like the fact that there was so much closed off though. It made me a little bit worried always walking around, thinking I might be in the wrong place. I also think maybe the signage was a little bit confusing at points. But it was a nice day out, so I think I maybe enjoyed it just about as much as the Dun and Massey one. I think I gave it a 7 or 8 out of 10. I probably gave this a 7 out of 10. It's a good day out, but you'll really struggle to look around everything within one day. You know, if you want to look at all the grounds, all of the mill, and then there's also the house, the village, and the apprentice house, it's probably too much for one day, which is why I couldn't be bothered. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. Also, let me know if there's any other National Trust places you want me to check out. Once again, welcome to my new subscribers, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in a bit.